And so for every inspiring barber or young barber that's trying to find your pathway as it relates to relationship, as it relates to trying to become successful in this industry, it's going to take the right person, the right partner. Welcome to another episode of More Than a Barber. I am your host, AP. And listen, this is a podcast that helps inspiring barbers transform their career with valuable content. We got a very, very excited conversation today. I am so happy to be back into the studio with my co-host. What's up, Mo?
What's going on, AP?
I'm chilling. You looking great.
Oh, come on now.
Got your skirt, the red bottoms.
Love is back in the building, baby.
Let's go. Y'all gonna enjoy this conversation today, man. I'm telling you, I am just excited to be back into the studio. Again, with my co-host. What you been up to? What's good?
No, baby. The key is what have you been up to, AP? Let's talk about it, baby, because it's been some changes.
It's been some changes.
Come on now.
Been some changes.
Y'all, I am so excited and I am so happy.
Thank you.
When I saw the video and I saw that beautiful brown chocolate sister.
Hey, let's go to my baby.
Come on, baby.
Yeah. Man, Mo, it's crazy. Was you happy?
I was very happy.
Thank you.
I was very, you know what? I root for love.
Yes.
I tell people all the time, I root for love.
Yes.
I think it's just, when you can find that person that makes your life whole.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a great thing. So I'm so happy for y'all.
Thank you, Mo. Thank you. I think you said the key word. When you find that real, true love, I think it trumps all of the counterfeits. Obviously, it trumps everything. Yeah, it trumps the counterfeits, man. I think the counterfeits can give you just enough.
Yeah.
But not what you need.
No, for real.
Right. And
for real.
I am so excited, man. I am in love with my wife. I love that woman, man. For
Come
real.
On now,
I ain't gonna
baby,
lie
listen,
to you.
I was looking at the ring, y'all. She don't play about this man. It ain't no little chips in that ring, baby. It ain't no little sparkle.
Yeah.
They ain't take the diamond and make little.
Yeah, you got, where my camera? You got to shout out. Yeah, it's right here. This thing bling. I said, golly. She wanted me to have it. I said, I like it. And so here we are with something solid, representing an amazing woman. Yeah, so we married. We married. And
we married now.
Yeah, the video been going crazy. It's been trending. We've been getting DMs.
It was beautiful.
Thank you.
Where did y'all get married?
So we got married at this, and I'm not getting no type of, I don't want to shout them out like that, but it's
because it wasn't here in Dallas.
Well, it was.
It was in Dallas.
It was a small. So the way the video, the way the videographer captured it, it looked like it was a bunch of people. But it was just our family,
right?
Just a close. So it was at Brighton Abbey, and then we went to San Diego to kind of like finish celebrating. So it was in San Diego.
It was beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. But it was like, AP, I was crying when I see the video.
I was. Because the way you came out, I love these with the weddings where the male don't just have to stand at the altar. Yeah. I love the way y'all come out and you just like, nah, this is my moment too.
This is my moment. I
love it.
This is my moment. I said I wasn't gonna cry, Mo.
I know you cried.
I said I wasn't gonna cry. I was like, I'm finna be a gangster. I'm finna be a G. And man, I felt that thing dropping. And if I had a blink, I was blinking, so it came. I was like, man, she looks so good. Like, yeah.
She did. She was beautiful.
And then my pastor's wife sung, and that's really what did it. Because she could really sing. La, 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 la.
I could.
Me. Right. And test it out. But no, man, we're excited, Mo. We're happy.
Excited for
we're happy. Shout out to my wife, Andrea. And shout out to all the married men, all the married barbers that's holding it down.
Come
we got a good conversation today. I think that it is really, I think it's really fitting to really talk about it because oftentimes, marriage has a it has a positive connotation in terms of the visual. Yes. It has a positive connotation, but the act in terms of the longevity, people kind of frown upon it from what it looks like.
Man, I think, gosh, yeah. So from the outside, I mean, I've seen people that's been married for 30, 40, 50 years and people say, oh, that's relationship goals and all of that. But behind the scenes, it's toxic. It's not healthy. They don't like each other. They don't speak. They're disrespectful. So we have to be careful of just because you have the longevity doesn't mean that it's necessarily great. You know what I'm saying? And so sometimes you can look at that and people say, oh, the glitz and the glamour, or even the wedding, that's what they want that. But they don't want to do the work that it takes for it to be a successful marriage. And longevity in years doesn't mean a successful marriage. Y'all just putting up with each other. You know what I'm saying? I'm shooting fires already.
Wait a minute. So you think that they're there just putting up with each other just to stay married and to prove to whomever, family, friends? Why are they just putting up with each other?
I think it's a lot. Well, this is the person that I know. And then what do I have to lose when this person leaves? If this person leaves, there's a lot of people that's going to have to give up a lot. They're going to have to give up half of what they have. And they're not willing to do that. They're willing to stay, be disrespected or be disrespectful and do what you want and still have a lifestyle where nobody's questioning you or holding you accountable.
That's a big one, though.
No, it is.
So, a lot of conversations that I am a part of when it comes to relationships.
Okay.
Just so y'all know, this is definitely not a relationship podcast.
It's definitely not.
But somehow or another, we kind of tend to circle around to this conversation because it's our culture. It's trending. Right. It is what we see every single day. But I would argue that men are we are held more accountable as men than the woman are held accountable. And you talked about accountability in that last piece.
Okay, I just want you to go deeper into it.
And I feel like we are, and we got people in the audience that's looking like, what? What you mean? I'm about to explain. Okay. So I think we are, let me say it this way. We are held at a higher standard, men.
Okay.
And we are, how can I say it? You guys aren't held accountable like we are as men are. Here's why.
Okay.
When we hold you all accountable for certain actions, whether it be relationships or you guys, not you all women, but it's like a deflect. It's like a For example, the red flag piece. We kind of talked about it offline. Is it a red flag for a woman to be a certain age? She has certain beauty, no children, never been married. And I, to a degree, think that is a red flag.
Okay.
Because as a man, I want to know why. Versus a man, we could be 50, no children, a big old bag, bankroll.
Right.
And we have more of an advantage. Yeah, I know you're making it. We do. We have more of an advantage.
What's the advantage? So first, let's go with everybody's desire is not to be married. That's the first thing we have to start with. I never had a fairy tale where I dressed up and pretended to be somebody's wife and dreamed of a wedding. That wasn't my desire. I mean, I never thought about that. So there's a lot of people's desire is not to be married. We're going to take Oprah, for example, because we kind of talked about that off camera.
Yeah.
Oprah has been in a steady long-term relationship, but she has said, had I gotten married to Stedman, I would have surely been divorced by now. Now, what is the pros and cons of her having that long-term relationship, them staying together, and literally what it looks like a marriage. It acts like a marriage, but there is not a piece of paperwork there. That's not her desire to be married, and it's not her desire to have kids.
You don't think...
And so what advantage does Stedman have over her? He has no advantage. So she's the powerhouse in that relationship.
Yeah, she's a powerhouse. His advantage is he gets to reap the benefits. He gets to reap, and that's just what it is.
But he's very successful. He's very successful in his own rights. But you said men have more of an advantage when they're older with no kids. So if we liken that to Oprah, then what would be your advantage over her?
Well, I think we can say whatever we want to say out of our mouth from a content perspective. I highly doubt that her saying I didn't want to be married and I didn't want to have any children. I don't believe that. That's just me. That's just me.
Okay.
That's just me. Women are wired a certain way. Yes, they are. Yes, you are. You are wired a certain way. And you can't tell me that. You can't tell me that.
I'm telling you, there are women. Now you have to think about it. Maybe in the beginning, we might be wired like that, but life experiences and traumas and turmoil will make us change who we are, but not necessarily. That could be one factor. But another factor, it was a viral moment that went around. It was an older Caucasian lady, and they asked her if she could change anything. What would she change? She said, I would have never gotten married.
What was the context, though?
She said that she could do more. She could be more if she had not gotten married. Because you have to think, when a woman gets married, the sacrifice that we make, we die to, when people talk about relationships, they talk about how you have to die to yourself to become one. The woman will sacrifice more because you guys think that that's what we're here to do. We not only have to, if she has to work, she has to go earn an income. When she comes home, she makes the house a home. She has to cater to you. She has to cater to her kids, and she comes last to everything. Not everybody is signing up for that.
What about the man that's saying, baby, I'm going to outserve you. Let me finish. I'm going to find a way to outserve you.
That's rare.
That is
so rare. It's now just becoming common where we have stay-at-home dads who are letting go of their careers. And you know why? Only because it makes sense, because the woman is earning more. And it makes more sense for him to stay at home. So it's very rare that a man will say, I'm going to outserve you. I'm going to do more. Because they are not giving up their careers. They are not taking.
Rare, though, Mo?
It is.
I just disagree. I disagree.
I wish we had a poll.
Hold on. Every relationship, every marriage is different. Right.
But I'm saying the norm is not for a man to outdo a woman, because I'm telling you, you have women that have guilt about just being overwhelmed because they come last to everything. I just
feel like a good man, let's say good husband, whatever, if he's in tune with his wife, with his partner. Right. If he's in tune with his partner, he should physically see, man, she's cooking too much or she's cleaning too much. Let me find a way to lighten the load, because I understand the sacrifice. I understand the work that she put in.
It sounds good, but AP, that is not what's happening. It's not what's happening. And 90% of household women, we know that is not happening. We are working. We are picking up the kids from daycare. We are going to the school meetings. We're volunteering to go on the field trips. We're coming home. We're cooking. We're cleaning. We're disciplined.
I got a question.
When the kids get sick, we're expected to be the ones that take off work because we are the nurturers. When y'all get sick because y'all are cold, is like pneumonia, like y'all dying. We gotta take care of y'all.
That is wild.
I'm trying to tell you, y'all will not outdo a woman. And I'm not saying it's a very small percentage. 1% of men will outdo a woman. Y'all could not handle the things that we do on a daily basis.
I think I hear you, but I think you're taking it a little, not out of context, but too far. Okay. Here's what I mean. When I say outserve, I'm meaning let me put forth the effort to at least match your energy. You may obviously do a little bit more because by nature, you all are nurturing. By the way we all have been wired, we're different. Right. That's all I'm saying. But I'm also saying I understand the person that I've been blessed with, which means that if this person is my person, that means I'm going to do everything I can day by day. I'm going to choose every single day, one, to love you, two, to try to serve the best way I can. Because the way you're putting it, My question is, what do men do?
I'm not,
because you said we do this. Y'all get sick. Well,
listen, y'all get more benefits from being married to a woman. If you look at a high, and I'm standing on that business. If you look,
this is good.
I am standing on that business. If you go and look at every highly successful man, you can go from Charlemagne the God, you can go to Steve Harvey, you can go to multiple billionaires. They credit their wife to their success. Every outside of God,
I get it.
They credit the next person, they credit their wife. They're saying they could not have gotten where they have gotten without that foundation of that wife.
Do you think that the wife could have got where she is without the husband?
Yes.
So basically, the way this is sounding, so y'all can't see the audience. They triple jumping me right now.
We are the prize. Now let me stop.
Oh.
I mean it goes both ways, but I mean I think
you're saying
there are a lot of men. There are a lot of men who think like you think. Now there are some men that will say exactly what you're saying. I'm going to do everything that I can to take away some of that load, whether that means, you know what? I have someone that cleans the house so that my wife doesn't have to clean. Mm-hmm. I have laundry service that comes in. Mm-hmm. I have someone that cooks, or I order the groceries so that she doesn't have to go to the grocery store. That helps a lot.
100%.
That takes a lot off the plate. But a lot of men are not doing that. I promise you.
How do we know that though? Is this a statistic?
It's like, yes, you can look up statistics. You can look up the women that are just worn out because they're trying to do a million things. There are women that are saying that they are married and they feel like single parents. That is real.
I agree with that.
Yeah, that is real. So if they feel like single parents, then tell me, and they're married, then tell me, how is that possible? That means that man is lacking somewhere. And I'm not saying in everything, it's not enough just to be a provider and to bring a check. But he's lacking somewhere where she feels like, I'm a single parent in this relationship.
So how do we define, that particular narrative? Because I look at certain relationships and I'm me. I was me before I got married. I'm me, right?
Right.
I'm just me. Mm-hmm. Now we evolve.
Okay.
Right? We do evolve. Women evolve, men evolve. Mm-hmm. But who was that person you married before the kids, before the marriage? That's what we have to look at. We can't just slam dunk and say, oh, I feel like a single woman, or you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, but it changes. So that's why, and I'm not married, I'm only speaking in terms of when they say you have to continue to date. Mm-hmm. Because what happens is the more responsibilities that you bring on, that becomes less important. The relationship becomes less important when that should be the foundation, because kids are going to grow up, kids are going to leave, and then you're stuck with two people that for years have just concentrated on other things and not necessarily the relationship. So yeah, you can say who was that person before, but a lot of people would really say, well, he changed or she changed. Yeah, because y'all have now more responsibilities. It's not just y'all. If you started from a traditional relationship where, I won't say traditional, but if you started off, neither one of you guys have kids and you're married. Yeah. Now comes the responsibility. Now we have a child, right? Yeah. And if you don't have a support system around you, the child becomes the focus.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Now, she don't do her hair like she used to, or she don't do her makeup.
That's important.
She got that rag on. She tired. Now,
that's important though.
It's very important. But did you, the person who's saying that, whether it's the man or the woman, what did you do to alleviate some of that load for her? Is she or he the only one that gets up in the middle of the night when that child is crying? Whose responsibility is it when that child is sick?
It's both. It's both responsibility.
It sounds good, but that's really not what's happening.
So men are not getting up taking care of their kids. That is crazy to me. Most of the time,
not, because here's the thing. Here's the thing, AP. That you have to think that woman has been carrying that child for 9 months. That's a bond that they already have. When that child cries and you lay that baby on the chest, it's soothing.
For sure.
That's not to say it doesn't happen with dads, because it does. But that mom has already formed that bond with that child. And so whoever can get that baby to stop crying, and then sometimes it is the man, then that man is stuck getting up in the middle of the night while that woman is asleep. Now he's tired. And she's energetic. Now he's feeling some type of way.
Right.
I ain't getting no sleep last night. And I ain't get something else last night. What's going on?
Right. Right. But I just feel like, to your point, you're right. But man, I talk to a lot of guys. I mean, obviously we in the barbershop. I'm talking to a lot of guys. And I hear both sides. But my thing is, there are some men out there that's holding it down, that's doing what they're supposed, they're taking care of their responsibility, right? Getting up in the middle of the night, taking care of the kids, fixing the bottle.
Very few, but there are. Very few, but there are. I'm never going to say no man is doing that. What I am going to say is there are more women that are doing that. What I am going to say is there are more women that are worn out and tired than men, because we are nurturers. Because I'm telling you, there are times when I got 2 arms. I got somebody hanging on this arm and this arm. And I'm like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's rare. Not say that it doesn't happen. It's rare that dad is that.
Well, I say this because I know dating, being a barber, being an entrepreneur, being a stylist, whatever you are, it kind of falls into the conversation.
It falls into the conversation.
It falls into the conversation. But I guess for me, obviously there's more women in the world than there are men, right? And just be clear, it is what it is. We don't always choose right. So if you are out there struggling to, get that help, or he's not doing what, again, it goes back to what I was saying. Who was this man before you met? If he was lazy before you met him, or during the time before the baby, playing video games, whatever, and it's no disrespect to, because I like video games too, but you understand. If he was lazy beforehand, you can't say, I got to do everything by myself. I have to cook by myself. And he was lazy before y'all had a baby.
Oh, no, you're right.
So that's the part where I'm like, some of those women that's talking about having to bear the responsibilities on their own. Well, you chose that guy.
But if you don't know, and you're right.
You said dating.
And you're right. But if you don't have kids before that, and you don't know that part about him, how you don't have anything to say that this is who this person is. You don't know what type of parent a mother is going to be. And there's some horrible mothers out there. 100%. I'm sorry. There are. 100%. And there's some horrible father. Everybody should not be able to parent. That's why we got kids in foster care and all that kind of stuff. Right. So, and nobody gets it right. But sometimes you don't have anything to say that this is the type of parent that this is going to be. So
there's nothing you can gauge to say, is this person going to be a good parent or not? There's no traits. There's no, even beyond parenting. What about just, is it a good person to date? How you feel when I go to work as a barber and stay 15 hours or 12 hours, because it's possible. Okay, so so let's talk about that. So how important is it for you as a barber, the relationship, or what type of relationship that you're in? Because that becomes very important, because 100%. If you got turmoil at home because you have clients, female clients, or you're moving around, and you have someone that's home jealous, blowing up your phone. I rode by the shop, your car ain't there. You're going out to eat with clients. Right. Who is these clients? Like, how important is that for you as a barber? Does that play a part in it? Like, who you date? It does. It does. I like to say this. Okay. Your partner, particularly your wife, from a male's perspective. Okay. That is your business partner. That is your confidant. This is what I say. That is your investment partner. She should be everything that you need her to be to become successful on all fronts. Right. And if she is in fact on board with your dreams, your vision, your goals, your aspirations, this is just me. She's not going to have an issue with how you move based on your level of communication. That's it. Communication. Right? Based on the level of communication. And we know that most males aren't good at communicating. Okay, so I want y'all to drop in the chat, because I feel like this is a male bash, right? This is a male bash. Like, we know. There are some men out there like, baby, look, blah, this is what we got going. Mm-hmm. Because again, if she is 100% on board with your vision, I'm telling you now.
Yeah, if she's on board, you're going to blow up.
100%. 100%, but I see the way you look at though.
Y'all catch that?
I see the way you look at. But we can make you blow up too.
You can.
We can make a woman blow up 100%.
No, you definitely can. Support from your partner is very important. I've been in a relationship where it was a competition. I'm like, why are we competing?
Yeah,
it's tacky. What are we doing?
It's draining.
It's very draining.
Because just me knowing you personally, like you're very driven, you're very creative, you like ambitious, like you a go-getter. You not about to just let somebody hold you down. But
she's a runner, she's a track star. Out of here. In these heels, in these red bottoms. You ain't gonna hold me down.
I get it. But see, again, that's why the partner has to be on board. Mm-hmm. I've learned that when dating, dating with a purpose, dating with intentionality, it matters.
It does matter.
It matters.
Now, let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. If the vision and the goal changes and your mate is uncomfortable with that, your wife is uncomfortable with that, or the person that you're dating with intention is uncomfortable with that, how important is it? And you think that it's going to take you to the next level. How important is their opinion in that if they don't necessarily agree with that? Because then that can cause friction. So let's say, I know when I met you, you was like, I don't cut women's hair. I'm telling you, respectfully, he was like, I don't cut women's hair, but y'all, I was hurting that day. And AP cut my hair, right? So let's say that was a thing. You don't cut women's hair, but now you're starting to open up the door for that. Is that a conversation now that you have with your partner to say, hey, now I'm taking on female clients. How do you feel about that? And if she doesn't agree with it, what do you do?
It's a good question. I think you have to lead by example with your partner. Okay. And sometimes they may not be on board in the beginning. Sometimes they may disagree with the vision. Like, I don't know about that. I don't know about more female clients or what have you. Because let's just be honest, there are some beautiful women out there. Yeah, they are. They're not finding my wife, but you know what I'm saying?
Come on, wife!
But there are. Like, it's just what it is, right? There got some beautiful women out there that are going to possibly come into your establishment. Right. And my thing is, this is my thing.
Come on.
This is my thing. People gonna try it. They gonna try it. They gonna try to shoot their shot. Ring, no ring. Right? Barber, no barber. It just happens.
No, for real.
Right? But what I've promised myself is that I am not going to embarrass my legacy.
That part.
Like, I'm not going to embarrass my future by some person that possibly can talk whatever in that moment, because I'm trying to build. And I need my wife. I need my person to help me build. We've invested too much. Listen, we have dated, for almost more than a year. Yeah. But we kept it private.
Very.
Like, it wasn't like, hey, y'all, look, we in, you know what I'm saying? Like, we here.
I ain't never met her in person.
You know what I'm saying?
Hello.
Like,
no.
You feel what I'm saying? Which is
cool. I mean, that thing that is sacred, is between you and that person. I think those are the strongest relationships when you don't have those outside distractions.
Absolutely. So what I would say is that it all depends on the type of relationship that Barber has with his person.
Okay.
Right? Because again, we are our leaders. You may not agree with that, but we as men, we leaders. I know I am. And I'm going to lead my home. Why are you smiling? What? I'm a leader.
Yes, you are.
100%. Do you? And I have to speak for the men who are actually leaders and holding it down. Okay. You're about to ask a question. Do I what?
Does every man have to lead their home? And if they do, what if the woman is the leader? Can the woman lead a man?
I'll say it this way. And I learned this from it's a hard question, but I got some smoke for that. You ready?
I'm ready.
Men don't always have to lead from the front.
Okay.
We sometimes can lead from behind.
Okay.
Now, you might be sharper in this area, and I have to be okay. I'm going to give you a perfect example. We were in San Diego, right?
Okay.
We were in San Diego on our honeymoon, and my wife, she fell at this nice hotel. No. Boom, yeah, it's good. We all right. But she fell, and I'm like, I was mad, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I called the front desk, and I'm like, yo, this is what just happened. Like, it's water all over the floor. Oh. There's a maintenance worker there. So we got proof that what happened, because there was no signage that said what floor. So fast forward, I try to handle the situation like, y'all need to compensate us. What we gonna do about this? Blah, blah, blah. Right. Now, Drea works in corporate, right? So the next day when she went down there, she gave it to these guys in a tasteful way. Right. Where I had to just sit back and be quiet. I couldn't say nothing because she had it. Right. Versus me the day before, like, I really didn't have it like I thought I did.
Because you were in protection mode.
I was in protection mode. Right. But there are some areas where y'all just stronger. Right. But that don't mean I have to say, but we still lead the home. Okay. That's what I'm saying. Drop the mic.
We agree to disagree.
See, you don't think men are you. So what is the beef between? Not the beef, because there is a beef between. It is.
Between what? Wait, I don't have no beef with me, and I love y'all.
I know you do, but I'm saying there's beef, like in our culture today, man versus woman.
Not me. I ain't beef. Let me tell you. No, for real. When I try to speak from general, not my own. Same. Right? I don't have no beef with men.
You don't.
I love men, and men love me. I don't have no issues.
I get you.
I don't have no beef. We be on the same sheet of music.
But that's like a drop in the bucket compared to what we see today in our culture. No. It is a beef. It is.
I'm telling you. No, I'm trying to tell you. Those people that's beefing, going back and forth, they don't know what they want. They still out here in these streets. I saw a post the other day said she's been in Dallas for 4 years and she hasn't met anybody, right? She said, I went to all the brunches and all the happy hours and all. I said, that's the problem. You at the brunch, the happy hours and all that. I said, go to Whole Food on a Sunday at 3:00. That's where they at. They're preparing to go to their corporate job.
Okay.
I'm at Whole Foods. Okay. On a Sunday.
What's the red bottoms on?
See, you at the happy hour where everybody else at. It's a meat market out there. That's why y'all going back and forth, because it's the same people at the same brunch and y'all just going from spot to spot to spot. I've been in that scene and I saw the same men with a different woman. And I was like, oh, she should be embarrassed. I've literally seen this one man. And if I described him, everybody in Dallas would know who I'm talking about. Wow. And every time he goes to a different spot, he's with a different, beautiful black woman. He is not a black man, but he has beautiful black women. And every time he goes to a different spot.
Does he have money?
Oh, yeah, he got money. Okay. But what I'm saying is, so if you're ladies, if you're putting yourself in those situations, don't say that you can't find a good man, because you're in the cesspool. See, I'm over here at the Whole Foods.
On Sunday at 3:00. On
Sunday at 3:00 when they're preparing to go to work, because they doing meal preps. They're going to get their meals. They in the fruit and the vegetable aisle over there. They healthy. They done had a workout. They going to get their meals for the week. They going home. You out there, and that's why you can't find no man, ladies, because y'all ain't got no problem.
But it is. I hear you, and I think that there's some validity to what you're saying. It is, but when you have money as a man, you have options. That's just what it is.
A woman too.
Well, yeah, but it's more women out there in the world than it is men.
You're right, but some women don't want. Well, that's a whole nother subject. Never mind.
What? Some
women don't want a man.
Well, then that's just a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother, like you say. But I'm saying when you have options. I was listening to an episode the other day, podcast episode. And he was like, yeah, I don't have them type of problems. He has multiple children. He was like, yeah, I got multiple baby mamas, right?
Right. Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I don't have that problem. You know, yeah, we good. We co-parenting, blah, blah, blah. I said, that's because you have money.
Yeah. Because if you didn't have money, you wouldn't have
that's a whole other conversation.
Let me tell you something. When you take care of someone financially, you're going to hear less of their mouth, because I need to be quiet so that you continue to cut them checks. Now, that's whether you would spending time with this child or not, because you're a responsible man. that makes money will ensure that their baby mothers are in a safe neighborhood, are in safe schools.
Wait a minute.
So that they can thrive. I'm talking about multiple.
What?
I'm talking about
multiple.
I'm talking about multiple. Okay. Because if you broke, you can't do all that.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why the baby mamas don't get along. That's why y'all fighting. That's why you ain't this and you ain't that.
But do you really think that's exactly what it is, though?
What
do you think this is what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because this is a very, very interesting topic.
It's very
right,
but it's relevant.
But it is relevant. It's extremely relevant. I'm saying you could be a good man.
Yes.
Doing your thing, doing what you're supposed to do, taking care of your business, right?
Okay.
And you make $70,000 a year.
Okay.
Right? And you have 2 baby mamas. This is just a random scenario.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
If you are a good father, I found that the good men that are present, that are taking care of their children.
You don't hear nothing?
You do. Yes, you do. And I'm going to tell you why.
Well, that's why, because they still want to be with you.
Absolutely. So it can't just be because you got.
But that has nothing to do with that's adult issues. That's adult issues. Because listen, I've been married before. Horrible husband. I'm gonna put that on me. Amazing father.
Why are you gonna put it on you?
Because a couple of reasons. One, growing up, my mom was married. And then they divorced, right? My mom never got into only one other relationship outside of my father that I saw because my mom wasn't going to handle men around me. That was very important to her. So not seeing marriage and relationship and not knowing what a marriage and relationship should look like, not knowing, and I went off into the military. So I didn't know what a marriage, what to look for, not knowing, hey, what is your family dynamic? Where do you come from? Is your father present? What type of traumas? The things I know to ask now, I didn't know how to ask in my 20s, right? So when the marriage failed now growing up, probably then, I blamed him, cheating and all this kind of stuff. But now growing up, okay, Monique, put that on you. Let's talk about red flags that you didn't know to see that you know to see now.
Yeah.
But as a father, we don't have no issues. Because the main thing now is this child. I will put him up again. There is no father in the world, to me, better than him. The best thing that he can do is father our child so that she knows what to look for in a man. He can be the best example of that. And he is that for her. And I can appreciate that. We don't have no issues. Zero.
You remember how earlier when we were talking about that subject, and you're like, that's rare?
What? And that is rare.
Situations are rare.
But him, yes, that the mother and that is rare. But that's too mature. But there was a time that we could not talk. There were years that we could not talk, and we could only talk through my mother. You cannot talk to me. Don't say nothing to me. We did not talk for years. Okay. I promise you. But now, man, we could kiki everything. We good.
That's good.
We are great.
That's
we don't have
good.
Seriously, we don't have any issues.
That's good.
Because the daughter is the main focus. But that could be rare.
That's rare.
That's very rare.
That's rare. And I hear these conversations often, and it's rare that you will find a situation where you all can just be mature and say, yo, we ain't gonna never be together. We ain't gonna never be anything. It's the child that's the focus.
And let me tell you something. Child support is not even a conversation. He does everything that he needs to do for her and more. We don't even need to talk money. My daughter flies everywhere first class. She don't even know what it's like to go past seat 1. She don't know. Her seat is 1A.
Come on, niece.
Listen, she
right.
She has no idea. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anything. My daughter can have a 15-minute music performance. Guess what he doing? He flying in for that 15-minute performance and then getting back on a plane and going back home because he wants to be present. I don't have to ask. She just needs to say, Daddy. And he gonna fly in, he gonna fly out.
But I think, too, you created that pathway for him to be this. Because oftentimes it's hard to be a present father in a toxic co-parenting.
Yeah, when the other parents still want you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I got time. Nobody want him.
Well, we ain't saying that. We ain't saying that. And I
divorced you for a reason. And paid for it. Get my name back.
She crazy. She's something else today. So let's help some young barbers real quick.
Okay.
You know, we talked about how challenging it could be, you know, working as a successful barber or inspiring barber, trying to get his foot in the door, but he has a relationship that's like, let's say Pookie, where you going today? You know, can you help some young barbers that's dealing with a difficult time as it relates to a relationship?
That's not the person for you. No, that's not the person for you. If you are doing what you say you're doing, if you're going to work, you're cutting hair, you're coming home, and you're getting questioned, that is not the person for you. Because you can't go be your best when you got a stressful situation at home. Don't come questioning me about cutting hair and I'm standing on my feet and my back hurt and I got hair on me and I got to deal with late appointments and people trying to walk out my shop not paying me and I got to deal with your mouth. Drop her. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the person for you. Go find somebody that understands what you're going through when you're trying to build. That ain't the person for you. That's the advice I got. Go get you somebody else. Be single for a minute.
Can she evolve? Because you talked about the evolve.
No, because I ain't got time to be training. A woman that's insecure, that comes from some type of trauma that she's dealt with in the past, and she needs to go get help for that. When you start questioning and you asking all these questions because somebody somewhere has done you wrong, you have abandonment issues, and that's showing up in your present relationship. I cannot heal that. A woman has never been able to heal that. A man cannot heal that in a woman. He or she has to go get that fixed themselves. So you go find somebody that's confident, that got something going on besides trying to check your location.
You know, that's a new thing now. They want the location. They want your IG. They want your location. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me.
If you willing to share.
But you spitting tonight, though. You spit. That's some real good advice.
No, leave her.
Yeah.
Leave her or leave him. Because you cannot heal that. They are going to forever be jealous and forever be insecure. And you're going to forever be answering questions. So now you got to turn on your location so she know where you at.
That's a lot.
Who doing that?
Barbers, stylists.
Y'all doing that?
Entrepreneurs. They doing it.
AP.
Yeah, they doing it.
Leave them.
She said leave them. Well,
not leave them, leave them. One word.
Leave them. It's over with. So I don't know. Like I hate for it to be that direct, but sometimes it's true, right? And sometimes the harsh truth is needed at times, most times. But I do like what you're sharing because it's a lot. A lot of barbers are struggling. That is the downfall to their success. The person that they chose to either marry or date, whatever. And not to say that they're bad, but sometimes it's kind of like, I'll give you a visual. Sometimes it's like a chain with a rock on it and it's wrapped around your ankle and you're trying to run as fast as you can. It literally is holding you back from your fullest potential to go as fast as you possibly can.
Speak.
Right? And that's the other way around too.
Yeah.
Right? It's the other way around. And so for every inspiring barber or young barber that's trying to find your pathway as it relates to relationship, as it relates to trying to become successful in this industry, it's going to take the right person, the right partner. I'm talking about it's going to take that. Because again, like I said earlier, she should be your investment partner. She should be your confidant. She should be your safe space. That's what she should be, where you can confide in her and she don't hold your deepest, darkest secrets against you. And at some point in that argument, she uses that ammo. Y'all good at that. Women are good at that. So shout out to the women that's actually holding the man down. She's smiling because I'm right. Holding the man down.
I don't even know how we got to that.
And actually hold that relationship down. So I appreciate you at least just giving these inspiring barbers and our community, that bit of advice.
Yeah, so you're trying to build clients and you're trying to build momentum in your business. You don't need to be fighting someone that's trying to keep you from that. So move on, for real.
What?
Yeah.
Listen, there you have it. This has been another episode of More Than a Barber. Make sure you like and subscribe and share this episode. We cannot wait to connect with you on the next episode. Let's go. Hey, yo, check this out. If you like this episode, do me a favor. Make sure you subscribe down below. We got amazing content coming your way. Stay tuned for more. Let's go.